wants to start this closing ceremony of the summer school, of the first edition of the summer school. We hope that this is the first edition and we could continue this project for at least 3 or 4 years. The implementation of this project wouldn't be possible if without the involvement of so many colleagues both from our university and partner universities from abroad. I would like to say thank you also to the colleagues from University of Wrocław, especially to Maciej, who is co-coordinator of this project, let's say. Special thanks, I would direct special thanks to our doctoral students who supported us during all this period at the stage of preparation of the application and as well at the stage of implementation of the project. So special thanks to Monika, to Piotr, to Patrycja. Also we have to stress also the involvement of the volunteers from the secondary schools. So without the involvement of so many people, this project can't be successfully implemented. And of course, we took the responsibility for the organization of this event, of this project, and also took part of the responsibility for this research component of the project. So I hope that we managed to solve the problem that we faced during accomplishing the idea of the summer school, and we hope that we could expect maybe some more efforts in some of parts of the implementation of these ideas from our partners. But I think that it can be discussed in the future, and now we have to celebrate this day of I think this milestone in your research careers. Unfortunately, our conference won't be visited by the authorities of the university because today there is a funeral of our former rector, Professor Wrzesiński. So I would like to ask you for a minute silence to commemorate Professor Wrzesiński. Thank you very much. As we all know, we are honored by Professor Klaus von Weimar, who agreed to join today's conference and agreed to give the lecture to us. So thank you for your attendance, and I hope that this will be quite important start of further cooperation. Maciej, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Piotr. Thank you very much. Probably there was many thanks, but also Piotr has to receive those thanks because he took on his shoulders quite a lot of responsibilities. So thank you, Piotr. Well, it's kind of unfortunate that we started the summer school with a funeral and finished the summer school with a funeral. So that is one probably sad thing about this. However, coming back to the, let's say, positives, I would like to mostly thank the students who took the responsibilities, they prepared the gathered here is thanks to your hard work. I know it was difficult sometimes, yes. There was a lot of let's say, sleepless nights. But I think that the outcome is more than we expected. So thank you very much, everybody. And let's maybe now come to the part during which we will actually see what the work, the hard work of the students. So during the summer school, we worked on 3 aspects of the European crisis. One was the issue of how the local governments, local regions in different member states are affected by the crisis. Second, the national level. Third, how the EU coped with the crisis. So we will maybe now respectively start to present the students representing each group will make their presentations. So let's start maybe from the first presentation, understanding the economic crisis at the local level. Case study: Belgium, Croatia, Czech Republic, Germany, Romania, and Slovakia. So please, I give the floor to the presenters.
So we are going to start with an introductory note. The international economic crisis has affected virtually every country in Europe, one way or another. The impact of the crisis varied throughout the member and the EU. This report that we have made aims at looking into some of these aspects in order to compare and highlight differences but similarities too between some of these countries, which may account for the differences in countries' performance. To this purpose, we focused our report on working of the local governmental systems and how local authorities manage their domains in order to cope with the economic crisis. The fields we have chosen for this comparison actually range from fiscal measures and budget expenditures to change in public administration and local initiatives. We divided our research in 2 parts. The first part is a comparative study, a comparative analysis of the different administrative systems in these countries that we've chosen: Belgium, Croatia, Czech Republic, Germany, Romania, and Slovakia. And the second part is on another thing. The second part of our paper, we took a practical approach to this field of research, consisting of interviews with a number of representatives of the local, regional government, and in around Wrocław. In doing so, we hope to find patterns that may benefit communities from other countries in coping with this economic crisis. We're going to start with the first part, the public administration. We choose these 2 countries because we found the most differences between them. So we're going to start with Slovakia. In Slovakia, the regional state administration offices were replaced by new sectorial offices which dealt with taxes. The wages were also frozen. In Romania, the situation was a little bit different. Approximately 61,000 people lost their jobs from governmental positions. More than this, governmental positions on all levels were actually blocked. Salary cuts, cuts in bonuses, and compensations were also employed as means to fight the crisis. The second part we moved on was the fiscal measures, and we took here Belgium and Slovakia's situation. So we're going to start with Belgium. In Belgium, at the local level, the taxes actually increased before the economic crisis. So when the crisis hit, the local government had to seek other means for financing. For instance, by cutting the subsidies for green energy. Also, the Belgian government has raised excise taxes on alcohol, tobacco, and diesel fuel. In Belgium, the general VAT remained at 21%, but the VAT for food and agricultural products dropped from 7% to 6%. In Slovakia, the things were a little bit different. The VAT rose from 90% to 20%, but actually there were no fiscal measures taken locally that had any effect on that country. In the social system, we found this interesting too. That's why we studied it. We took the case of Belgium and Czech Republic. We're going to start with Belgium. In Belgium, the social security system is in the competences of the federal state, though the Flemish community wants to divide it between different communities. At the local level, there are organisms such as FOREM and ONEM, and the main objectives of these institutions are finding a job for the unemployed by providing trainings and language courses. Another organism is CPAS that provides allowance for the unemployed and socially deprived people. In Czech Republic, the case is a little bit different. The unemployed had the opportunity to earn money doing services for public good causes, but the money for social services was reduced, like looking for disadvantaged people and civil organizations. Also, the taxation increased. I'm going to give now a seat to my colleague.
Okay. I'm going to talk about budget expenditures. These were the main concerns once the crisis hit because spending had to be restructured. So in most of the countries we analyzed, taxes were modified, mainly taxes were increased, and in some countries additional taxes were also implemented, except for Slovakia. We chose Germany as an example because it was a special one. The measures taken here were about credits on the long term. So the federal states will now be able to apply for new credits from 2020 onwards. And also in Germany, we found a solidarity mechanism. That means that the most efficient states have to financially support economically weaker ones. Moving on, we analyzed the SME status in the countries. While in Slovakia, SMEs are not dealt with at the local level, and in Czech Republic, they only had some minor difficulties, we found some interesting changes or some interesting measures undertaken for SMEs in the rest of the countries. So in Germany, we can say that 42% of SMEs were affected by the crisis, and the federal government used the economic stimulus package too to help relaunch the activity of SMEs. In Belgium, there was the Marshall Plan Green 2, through which SMEs could access several funds and through which entrepreneurial spirit was given support. In Croatia and Zagreb, there is a long-standing program through which SMEs could get credit financing. And in Romania, SMEs were given a hard blow through the increase in the tax on dividends from 10 to 16%. And statistics show that about 15% of SMEs declared bankruptcy. We focus more on local initiatives, so we will take it step by step through each country to see what the local government did to fight the crisis. Local initiatives are important because they improve the conditions for the local communities. If the local community gets involved, then on the long term it can be beneficial for building awareness in that social community and independence in the long term. So in Germany, in Rhineland-Palatinate, the provincial government adopted the Future Investment Act for securing jobs, supporting companies, and for sustainable investment. In Croatia, in Zagreb more specifically, they centered on social programs. But what's interesting in Croatia is that though in Zagreb they centered on social programs, some cities added an additional tax. So in Zagreb, the tax is 18%, so a surplus tax on all the taxes the inhabitants have to pay. In Rijeka, it rose from 6.5 to 12%, and in Dubrovnik, it actually went down from 15 to 10%. The local initiatives in Belgium were, the Wallonia region was chosen, and in that particular region, we have the Marshall Plan Green 2 and Creative Wallonia. These programs were used to reduce taxes, facilitate investment grants, and for partnerships. In the Czech Republic, there were bottom-up anti-corruption measures because, as you all know, in Czech Republic, the people think that if there were less corruption, then there would be more money to fight the crisis. In Romania, we chose cities and not regions for the local initiative part. So in Sibiu, for instance, Sibiu had a city center reconstructed, and they focused on German partnerships and NGO partnerships. Also, other cities like Craiova, Timișoara, Brașov, Cluj-Napoca, and Constanța and Iași have hosted regional conferences for supporting young entrepreneurs, because young people are the future. In Slovakia, the Bratislava region initiated the Open Self-Government project for increased transparency. So, these are the local initiatives, and further on we will move on to surveys conducted in Poland.
So, good morning everybody again. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Philipp Baubach, and I'm talking about surveys. For those of you who didn't know that, we took a lot of interviews last week in Wrocław and surroundings in towns close to Wrocław, and we actually decided to present 2 interviews as an example for our conclusion. Yeah. Excuse me. No, it's okay. Thanks. So one of the interviews we took were in Olesznica. It's a town with 105,000 inhabitants. It's just close to Wrocław, about 30 kilometers away. We talked to Mr. Kotriaya, member of the local county council. In Olesznica, there are 80 cleaners. And we asked him, for example, about the long-term solutions to overcome the economic crisis were, and actually he answered, the investments on the automotive company, GKN, and the investments on the furniture company. In Olesznica, GKN is an automotive company by the it's still in development, they're still developing the infrastructure for building bigger production levels. The furniture company has 2,300 employees, but it is possible to have 2,700 employees there. Apart from this, he focused on the current project, which is still in development, and it's the military airport. They want to convert the military airport to a civilian airport to improve the economic situation there, just focusing on civilian passenger travel, maybe cargo travel in the future. It's just a project for the future. They said they'll see. And actually, the project will also include a scientific research center with a branch of the Polytechnic University Berkeley. Another question we asked them was what the local strategies for attracting foreign investments were. And actually, he said they have got the stability of the local government. That's very important for Leshinza. Because they have the same name since 1994. The stability of the government is very important to secure jobs, for example, or to secure the area, to secure the investments. That was his answer to the local strategy. So, next. Next, we took an interview in Wrocław on the Voivodeship level with Mr. Uzarski. Mr. Uzarski is the chairman of the Social Policy and Family Support Council. And when we asked him the question what his long-term solutions to overcome the crisis were, he answered, invest in research and development. Because educating people is very important for the future of Wrocław and of course for the future for Poland. So the city of Wrocław donated approximately 70 million zlotys to the university, to the technical university, because they think the technical university is that kind of important that it has to be supported, and the future of Wrocław will be supporting various areas such as like craftsmanship, engineering, IT, and for example. The next question we asked him was what is local strategy, or what the local strategy of Wrocław were for attracting foreign investment. And he said, yeah, to invest in the infrastructure and to invest in people. So they're just not focusing on the hard money, they're focusing on the human capital as well. For example, there are two industrial parks developing close to Wrocław, and actually they want to attract foreign investments by laying the taxes for new companies for 10 years, so that the companies don't have to pay taxes for 10 years when they are starting the business in Wrocław or when they move their business to Wrocław. We actually asked him if there are any questionable measures actually in the policies from the Polish government. And he answered that he actually wasn't really satisfied with the current administrative portion. There have been 49 voivodeships in Wrocław in former days, and nowadays there are 16 voivodeships. So with shrinking voivodeships, there are only 1 or 2 regions which are strong, and the other regions aren't that kind of strong, or maybe they are weak and get weaker and weaker. And actually, as I stated before, with this tax exemption for new businesses for 10 years, the delay, he wasn't that quite satisfied. It was a local strategy to attract investors, but actually he wasn't that satisfied with this solution, because he just wanted the new companies to pay taxes here in Wrocław. So, for the conclusion from this, a lot of interviews, as I mentioned, actually, there have been some differences between the answers. We asked every politician the same questions, the same survey for them, but on these topics they really agreed at all, so that the Polish economy is a reactive one, strongly connected to the German. The crisis didn't affect the Polish economy actually, and the long-term strategies are centered in Russian development, which means they are concentrating on investments. Just investment, and the importance of decentralization is really, really high here in Poland. So, the final conclusion for the last week of our work on the local government sphere is that all countries reacted to the economic crisis in one way or another, and they influence more or less on the local level. As you can see, we mentioned some patterns. That the older democracies have already passed multiple reforms for battle with the crisis. Exactly. The new democracies, just like Eastern Europe, which existed for nearly 20 years, just need to develop themselves. They just need time and time for developing. Actually, maybe there is this solution, or this could be the solution, that you decentralize the countries. And almost of the regions and the cities analyze and implement programs to tackle unemployment or other social issues. So actually, cities, or for example, communities, they reacted. They had programs, they had ideas to fight the crisis in their countries, not only in Germany, also in the other countries, the Czech Republic, wherever we were talking about.